You want an exotic pet? From tiny geckos to animals you probably never even heard of. Today, we're breaking down some of the best exotic pets you can actually keep. We'll cover reptiles, mammals, birds, and even invertebrates. For each animal, I'll give you interesting facts, their lifespan, whether they're venomous or not, and even where they're banned. Let's jump in. First up, amphibians and reptiles. Starting with the leopard gecko. This little lizard is often called the beginner reptile because they're hardy, easy to care for, and don't need a complicated setup. Leopard geckos can live up to 20 years in captivity, which is pretty impressive for such a small creature. They aren't venomous, and in most of the United States, they're perfectly legal to own. So if you want a friendly, low-stress reptile, the leopard gecko is a top pick. Next, the crested gecko. These guys are climbers and can literally stick to walls thanks to the tiny hairs on their toes. They're also known for their cute little crests above their eyes, which look like eyelashes. Crested geckos can live around 15 to 20 years, and just like leopard geckos, they're not venomous at all. They're legal in most places, and what makes them even easier is that they don't need live insects every day like some other reptiles do. Moving on to something a little bigger, the ball python. This snake is one of the calmest species you can keep as a pet. When it gets scared, it curls up into a ball, which is how it got its name. Ball pythons can live for 20 to 30 years, so owning one is definitely a long-term commitment. They aren't venomous since they're constrictors, meaning they squeeze their prey instead of using venom. In the US, they're legal in most states, although a few places have restrictions. If you want a gentle and manageable snake, ball pythons are one of the best choices. Now let's move on to mammals. Hedgehogs are a favorite exotic pet for many people. These tiny, spiky creatures are quiet, fairly low maintenance, and fun to watch. They're nocturnal though, which means they'll be most active when you're trying to sleep. Hedgehogs usually live 4 to 6 years, though with good care, some can live longer. They aren't venomous, but they are banned in certain parts of the United States, including California and New York City. Another popular exotic mammal is the sugar glider. These little marsupials can glide through the air for up to 150 feet, using the flap of skin between their arms and legs. They're highly social, which means they need lots of interaction, and most people recommend keeping them in pairs so they don't get lonely. Sugar gliders can live 10 to 15 years, which is a big commitment for such a small animal. In terms of legality, they're banned in states like California, Alaska, and Hawaii, but legal in most others. If you want something really unique, there's the fennec fox. These tiny desert foxes are famous for their huge ears, which help them stay cool in the wild. Fennec foxes live around 10 to 14 years in captivity. They're active, playful, and curious, but they need outdoor space and lots of stimulation. They aren't venomous, of course, but they can be tricky to care for, and they're only legal in certain states. Still, they're one of the most striking exotic pets you can own. Next up, birds. First is the cockatiel, one of the most popular pet birds worldwide. Cockatiels are playful, friendly, and known for their whistling. They can live around 10 to 15 years and are legal to own everywhere. They're great for beginners who want a bird that's not too loud but still very interactive. Another excellent bird is the green-cheeked conure. These parrots are mischievous, clever, and love being the center of attention. They're small but full of personality, and with the right care, they can live 25 to 30 years. That's longer than most dogs. They're legal to own everywhere and make great companions if you're ready for the commitment. Then there are lovebirds, one of the most colorful and affectionate types of parrots. They're called lovebirds because they often form strong bonds with their partners, and if you keep them alone, they can bond closely with you. Lovebirds live 10 to 15 years and are legal across the United States. They're small, playful, and full of energy, perfect for someone who wants a bird with character. Finally, let's talk about invertebrates. Tarantulas are one of the most common exotic pets in this category. With over 800 species, they come in all sizes and colors. Some tarantulas can live more than 20 years, which is impressive for a spider. While they do have venom, it's not harmful to humans, and they're generally very low maintenance. Tarantulas are legal almost everywhere. Another fascinating invertebrate is the praying mantis. These insects are incredible hunters with their sharp raptor-like arms. They're fun to observe, but they don't live very long, usually only about a year. They're legal in most places and are one of the easiest exotic pets to keep if you want something short-term but very unique. The last one on our list is the giant African land snail. These snails can grow up to 8 inches long and live between 5 and 10 years. They're surprisingly low maintenance. But here's the catch. They're completely illegal in the United States because they can destroy crops and native plants. In other countries, though, they're legal and can make an unusual but interesting pet. So which one of these exotic animals would you pick? Whether you want a climbing gecko, a social sugar glider, or even a tarantula, exotic pets are fascinating companions. But remember, always check your local laws before bringing one home, and make sure you can meet their special needs. Thanks for watching.